So you want to know about all the mistakes I used to make growing up? Well, here's 5 top tips coming up. Hello everybody, my name is Ben Parks, 236 marathoner and coach, and what I want to talk to you today about is 5 things that I wish I knew about when I started running. So without further ado, let's get going. So number 1 is going to be get yourself a proper pair of running shoes. When I first started, I just went out, I think I just bought the most expensive pair I could find, because of course that's going to make a great running shoe. But they were awful, they were massive, heavy, I think they were a pair of Asics or something, just so wrong for me and what I was doing at the time. So get down to a nice sort of independent or one of the big running shops, so places like Run and Become, the Running Works in London is really good, Runners Need, the Jog Shop in Brighton. These sort of places, they've got a proper machine, a treadmill, they've got video equipment that you can run on and get your sort of your gait analysed and get the right pair of running shoes for you. Of course there's a time and a place for buying things online from the likes of Wiggle and places like that, but for your first pair of shoes, really good, get down to a proper running shop, because then once you've got those, you're set, you've got nothing to worry about, you massively reduce your chance of getting injured. And yeah, really invest your time into get that professional advice from a local running store. A lot of the guys in there, they're going to be experienced runners themselves. So yeah, tap into that advice. You might pay just a fraction more than you're going to pay online, but it's absolutely worth its weight in gold. So get yourself down to your local running shop. So number 2 is going to be make every run count, or give every run a purpose. Now when I first started, like so many people, I just laced up my shoes, out the door, tear around the streets as fast as I could, normally in exactly the same loop, just doing exactly the same thing. And I did this for about 2 months. I made myself a little 8k loop around where I live, and I'd just tear around it and try and do it as fast as I possibly could and not really achieve anything. I wasn't getting any quicker. 2 months down the line, I was still running it maybe about 30 seconds quicker than I did when I first started. So it's really important to give yourself a wide variety of runs throughout the week. So you've got your easy runs, your long runs, your interval sessions, your tempo runs, and any solid training plan, like the ones that obviously I sell on the website and all the people I coach, has a really good mixture of all sorts of different paces. As soon as I sort of realised this, I had my sort of Sunday long run, midweek nice slow easy run, some intervals at track on a Tuesday, maybe a nice tempo run on a Friday, with a nice mix of rest days in there as well. My fitness just went through the roof really quickly. So yeah, any week, map it out, get yourself a training plan, map it out yourself, and have a really good mixture of runs and make every run count. So number 3 is going to be invest in a GPS running watch. Now I have a, how's that going to work? A Garmin 935 Forerunner. Just absolutely fantastic piece of kit. And yeah, this is my 3rd Garmin that I've had now. All of them have been really solid. Started out with the Forerunner 620, then bought the Fenix 3, and now moved on to this one. When I first started, I downloaded Strava just sort of on my phone and had the usual sort of strap on your arm. But the trouble is with that is you can't see any of the data while you're running along, but having it all on your wrist. So when you're trying to do sort of easy runs, you can look at your heart rate. When you've got intervals, you can look at the lap pace, last lap and current lap. I just can't even begin to imagine how I do any of my training without that watch on my wrist there to look at, and especially in races as well, where you need to sort of work out your pacing and get that right. When I first started running, I've no record of anything, because GPS watches weren't really a thing. A few people had them, and I remember thinking like, what's the point of that? That's never going to catch on. But how wrong I was. So yeah, really important. Get yourself a Garmin. Of course, other brands out there, TomTom, Suunto, Fitbits, all sorts of that. They're all pretty good. And yeah, just sort of it's going to give you so much more data right on your wrist that you need. And then also you've got a nice diary, a good track record of everything you've been doing, so you can look over it, you can look over all your historic training as well. So yeah, make that investment. You can pick up like a Forerunner 35 for about £100 now. Yeah, it's a lot of money, but really sort of investing in your running, and it's going to be really... So moving on to number 4, and that is going to be look into how to run. Now, when I first started running, my form was awful. I was sort of heel striking, and I'm not going to get in the whole debates of forefront running and heel striking and things, but I just looked like the classic sort of Phoebe out of Friends look, arms all over the place. But then I looked up a sort of a running form coach. I'll link his details down below. Really good. And I went and had some lessons on how to run, which is all sort of based on the Chi running principle, or the pose method of running, which is, yeah, landing on that sort of forefoot to midfoot. And then I got a metronome, which was ticking away on my shoulder. Again, you can download these on your phone, just sort of ticking away at 180 beats a minute. So yeah, my cadence quickly became up to that sort of level, boarded up to that sort of level. And then yeah, after some, also looking at some YouTube videos and things, thinking about form, thinking about cadence, thinking about my breathing, quickly got to a point where I was running far more efficiently. When you can move across the ground far more efficient, you're using less energy, your heart rate's lower, everything's just so much more simple. And the most important thing, you massively reduce your risk of getting injured. Of course, if you're doing your strength work and things as well. So yeah, just spend some time, do some research. I'd really recommend looking up Chi running, or that sort of pose running method as well, and just invest some time in working on your form, when you start out. So important to remain injury free. And finally, number 5, I would really recommend, I know this is going to sound ridiculous, the first race I ever did was the London Marathon. Like so many people, I was 18 years old, probably about 18 years old and 5 months, hadn't got a clue what I was doing. I just entered the race because there was a girl at school that ran, and I thought this is a surefire way of trying to impress her. Of course, she didn't care less. I don't think she'd ever turned up to watch. She probably didn't even know I ran it. But I'd really recommend getting some races in there before you do a marathon. So I turned up on that start line, hadn't got a clue what I was doing. I'd never sort of been in any form of running race before, apart from the occasional school cross country a few years before. So yeah, go to park run, find out what that sort of feeling's like. I know park run's not a race, it is just a friendly run, but it's still, preparing for that start line feeling, getting up, putting your kit on, getting the diet right before you go to the race, to the run. Or yeah, sort of find a 5k, a 10k, a half marathon, build up slowly before you're going to do that big marathon race. And I'm sure when the big day comes around and you're standing there on the start line, you'll be like, I've done all this before, I know what this is like. I'm a bit nervous about the distance, but I've got this, and I'm going to be fine. So there we go. So there we have it, guys. There's 5 little tips there for any of the newer runners out there, or maybe some more experienced people looking for a few tips on how to sort of structure their training and how to become better, more rounded runners. They're all little things that have helped me over the years, and I wish I knew about them when I was younger, but they're all things I really sort of put into practice now. So thanks very much for following along, guys. Really appreciate the support the channel's getting as it grows. And yeah, really exciting to see where things are coming. Let me know down in the comments anything that sort of you're doing, what you have learned along the way, and some little tips to help out other runners on there, and we can all work together to help each other out. A thumbs up and a subscribe down below would really help the channel out as well, and I really appreciate it, guys. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next one.